So the Allergics started basically about 3 years ago, 2018. I'd lived down Bradford for 6 years, from the northeast originally. Had a band up there called No Compromise, and the logistics of travelling up and down from the northeast to Bradford just didn't happen, so the band kind of just fell its own way really. The other band members went off into other bands. So after a couple of years living down here, I decided to put an ad out on joinmyband.com. Advertise it as a pretty poor punk vocalist from the northeast. Just wanted to start a band and needed 4 members, 2 guitarists, bass player and a drum player. So the first 4 people that came along were the 4 people, well actually 3 people who joined the band, which was Ash, James and Ned. We didn't have a drummer at the time, but Ned knew a lad called John who came along to help us out. Enjoyed it that much, he decided to stay with us. So 2018 in October, that was when the Allergics started. Since then, it's just gone on. It's had its hitches, ups and downs. It's had, obviously COVID affected us. We sadly lost Ned in 2020, I believe it was. And then Matt joined us in January of 2021. Ash left us in April this year, and we were joined by Paul. He joined us and came from a good reputation, a good background in punk bands, and that's where we are today. So the name The Allergics, where did it come from? Well, we sort of bantered a few ideas around. A couple of names came up, Forever Young. I can't remember what the other ones were, maybe Caps and Bottles, something like that. And then we had Allergic Reaction came up. Everybody kind of thought, oh yeah, sounds good. But James in his wisdom thought it made him think of a rash and made him itch all the time. So Ash dropped in and said, well look, why don't we just call it The Allergics? Everybody appeased to it and thought that's it, it was a great name for a band. Hence The Allergics came along and we stuck with the idea. Favourite Allergic memory? Got a couple actually. There's, I think the funniest, most memorable one for me was when we played in Darlington, and Ned, bless him, was standing watching the Leeds football match on his mobile phone while we were playing, much to the amusement of everybody. We even asked him what the score was and he obliged it was 1-0 Leeds. And another memorable time for us is obviously our first big gig, which was Christmas in Leeds with GBH. That was one of our biggest breaks, I suppose, and yeah, that's how 2 good memories for me. Yeah, so the best Allergic songs for new listeners to try. If you like them sort of rapid and fast old style school punk, go for Corrupt Politician, So Insecure and Seen It All. If you like them a bit more melodic and a bit more sing-alongy, go along with Pissed on the Bus, Broken Britain and Until We Meet Again, a new one. Why did I decide to become a vocalist? This is a good one. About 10-12 years ago, there's a bunch of young kids in the village Hunwick where I'm from wanted to start a sort of oi band. They were good guitarists, good drummer, but none of them were confident about singing. So in my wisdom, at the ripe old age of sort of 47, I decided to give it a go with them, and it kind of worked out. We did a band called Avoided, and it went from there really. We did a couple of years, I did the singing, and that's where it all started. So, preparation for a show. For me, it's not really that difficult. I'm such a relaxed guy over it all. I just like to rook up, associate with people, mix around with people, have a couple of beers, chill out, see what's going on, watch the rest of the guys set the equipment up. Pretty fairly laid back with it, to be honest. Nothing phases me about it, just it is what it is, and you know, we just get on with it. So yeah, that's how we do it. So what does punk mean to me? Short, fast, loud music with sort of lyrics that you can just throw in and express yourself. There's no hold barred with it, you can just totally enjoy it, and that's basically how I sum it up. So my biggest influences in the music scene is really the UK 82 side of punk from, you know, the early 80s. That influenced Blitz were a massive thing in my life. I love them, hence that's why we got one of the songs in our set. Obviously bands like GBH, UK Subs, fantastic bands. Old school like SLF and stuff like that, big influences. But also the American scene. I love the American street punk scene. You know, there's bands out there, heroes out there are the anti-heroes. But apart from that, there's, you know, these bands like Victory, Fat Skins, Fear City, all fantastic bands and massive influences in my musical tastes. So, one band I'd like to tour with. Thought long and hard about this one. There's so many bands out there, but one band, if I could ever tour with, I'd love it to be Noise. You know, massive influence again on me. I love the music. I just love the opportunity of them come to Britain. If they ever came to Britain, you know, Matt, Kenny, Nate, you know, if you listen to this, the Allergics. What's in store for the future for the Allergics? Well, I think we've just got to continue doing what we're doing, writing more material. Obviously getting bigger gigs. We're starting to get ourselves out there now and starting to get the better shows, which is really good. But I think, you know, just basically enjoy ourselves, go out there, write new stuff, not change the direction too much, but like add some different stuff in there, which we're doing at the moment, which is really good. So it's quite exciting times, I think, for the future. Definitely a second album, and hopefully, you know, at one time next couple of years, maybe we can do a sort of mini tour ourselves, which will be really good. So bands that I would like to give a shout out to, probably got 4 in mind. There's the Mighty Gimfist. You know, they've been doing it since 2005. So, you know, 17 years later, you know, Johnny, God, he's a writing machine. He keeps it going. Massive respect for him. Fantastic. Another band that's out there that's really doing the rounds, Lord. You know, these guys live in Norfolk and they travel far and wide for gigs. Got to be impressed with that, you know, and a big shout out to them guys. The 2 other bands I'd like to give a shout out to is Zero Tolerance and The Sentence. You know, like us, they're pretty new bands, 3 or 4 year old, working hard, and they finally got the big break at Blackpool this year and got the Rebellion Festival. So very well done to those guys as well. Well impressed. So I'd just like to finish off with anybody that hasn't seen the Allergics. I recommend you get yourselves onto one of our gigs, you know. Until you see us and try us, you'll never know. We get stuck into it. We love it. We love what we're doing. We do have a small little following now, which is pretty good. So I would just encourage you to come along and see us at some of our gigs, and also support the gigs as well. You know, it's important that anybody in the scene gets the support. You know, before you know, pubs sort of close down and venues start losing them. Let's just keep going. Let's go as long as we can and support the other bands as well. Yeah.
See the people suffocate, you see the people bleed.